Ladies and gentlemen, we have officially found another meme stock. Rocket Companies soared over 70% yesterday thanks to our friends at wallstreetbets and created millionaires out of almost thin air. We're going to talk about the potential RKT has with a short and gamma squeeze and why I think another run like Gamestop and AMC can happen with this stock. The RKT momentum started with a fantastic earnings report. They beat earnings per share estimates by 26 cents and beat revenue estimates by about $600 million. Both of these were very nice surprises and sent the stock up a few percent. Later, Rocket Companies ended up announcing a special dividend of $1.11 per share, and at the time this was announced, that was about a 5% dividend, but of course, since the price is so much higher, that percentage value has gone down. Later in this video, I'm going to talk about how the special dividend is going to take this stock parabolic, but first we need to talk about what caused the initial surge yesterday, which is a short squeeze. If you haven't learned about what exactly a short squeeze is from GameStop, you first need to know what shorting is. Shorting is when you borrow a stock to sell in hopes of buying it back at a cheaper price. Now, most people like to think that you make money off trading when something goes up, but short selling gives you the ability to make money when the stock price goes down. RKT post earnings had a short interest of 40%. This means 40% of RKT's current shares are being shorted. This was honestly insanely high considering their fantastic fundamentals and earnings, so wallstreetbets users started buying and buying and buying even more. The big boost in price due to all the retail traders forced the short sellers to buy back their shares at a loss, causing an explosive move up in the stock price. This user even put $1 million in, and man did that pay off. This user from wallstreetbets said that they purchased RKT yesterday, and they actually made over $1 million in just one day, which is insane. This is kind of the thing that most people dream of, a real example of a get-rich-quick scheme. But I don't think this is the end of the RKT run, and I don't even think it's close to its price target yet. If you do end up enjoying this video, make sure you subscribe. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, and I make videos like this multiple times a week. I also make videos talking about companies that I like to invest in, especially NEO, so if you like that type of content, make sure you stick around. Now, Rocket Companies is slowly fading today. As you can see, it peaked out at about $43 and it's now sitting around $29. And you're probably wondering why I still think that this company is going to go up, and it's for a few reasons, the first being a gamma squeeze. The term gamma squeeze has been thrown out a lot since AMC and GameStop had their initial surge. But to be honest, a lot of people don't understand what the actual gamma squeeze is, and the concept is really hard to grasp. So I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can and try to bear with me here. So the people shorting RKT stock actually have to use a hedge so they don't get just completely destroyed. Short sellers usually use a strategy to hedge their positions by buying long call options. This, combined with retail traders and wallstreetbets also buying a bunch of long call options because they thought it was going to be the next hyped up stock and maybe the next AMC or GameStop, caused a huge inflow of call options being bought. And for every call option buyer, there has to be a seller. The people who sell these calls are likely market makers or traders who profit on the bid to ask spread and also provide liquidity within the market. Selling a call is a bearish position, so they need a bullish position to help hedge that. And that bullish position is actually the market makers hedging by buying shares. This causes an almost infinite loop of shares being bought with hedges and main positions and shorts covering, causing a massive movement in price, or what we know as a gamma squeeze. Now, the difference between RKT and AMC, GameStop, and all the other stocks that absolutely mooned within the past month or two is that Rocket Companies actually declared a $1.11 special dividend. Now, you're probably wondering, why does this matter when we're talking about the stock going parabolic? And what matters is the date that you have to purchase by. The ex-dividend date is March 8th, which means that anybody who buys before March 8th gets a $1.11 per share dividend. Now, this gives buyers a huge incentive to buy because this dividend date is March 8th, and of course they want to get in and get that free dividend. We didn't see anything like this happen with GameStop or AMC, and that just puts additional buying pressure onto RKT. And another reason why you should buy RKT stock is because it's actually a great company, and at this price level that I'm recording at right now, which is about 28, the company is not too far overvalued. Their PE ratio was not very high when this run first started, and the company just increased their revenues by 150%. It's been pretty crazy to see their growth. Now, the CEO was actually on CNBC talking about their earnings a couple days ago and also talking about the massive short interest.
You know, I can understand the efficiency arguments. I have refinanced loans with you guys, and I have to say, you do have the technology, you keep it in there. But the moves that we're seeing right now, I think, come in part because you've got a stock that's heavily shorted. We're not talking Reddit. This has not been one of the Gamestop type stocks where you see some big moves. But last I saw, I think the short interest was about 40% for rocket companies. I know there was some unusual options activity yesterday in the stock with the expiration of some of the options that were out there. And now just looking at the stock up 14%, I mean, this is a fast mover. First of all, what would you say to the short sellers, Jay?
Well, I'm going to say the same thing that I've been saying for quite some time now. We've been doing this for 35 years. We're building out a great platform, a platform that captures the lifetime value of the clients that we interact with. Yes, mortgage is awesome. We love the refinance business that we do. We love the purchase business that we do. But our Rocket Homes platform, $6 billion in real estate transactions last year. That'll double this year. Our Rocket Auto platform, $750 million in GMV. That will double this year. And so when we're thinking about acquiring a client, we're thinking about the lifetime value of that client. And I think that makes us very different than some of the traditional competitors that investors think of us or compare us to. And so, you know, over time, Becky, this will play out. You know that Dan and I have been doing, well, I've been here for a quarter of a century, so we're kind of long haul guys. We think about the right investments, technology, our Rocket Cloud Force, our brand, our data lake, all of those things. That's the type of mindset that we have, and I think over time that'll play out, and you'll probably see fewer and fewer people shorting the stock.
Now, me and the CEO are thinking the same thing. It doesn't really make sense that people are shorting this company. I've always actually loved RKT. I was invested in it when it first IPO'd. It was a really nice stock, and it just kind of consolidated for a really long time. And unfortunately, opportunity costs got the best of me, which is never a good idea. You always want to stick within your investments for the long term. But it got to me, and I got out of the stock, and unfortunately, I had to pay for it. But lastly, I want to take a look at some technical analysis and look at the charts, and I want to give you guys a price target. But first, let's look at GameStop. As you can see, when GameStop first had its initial run, it had a giant spike to about 160, but then it had a huge pullback over 50% of its price. Now, this is to be expected because we're going to have people taking profits and also other short sellers wanting to get in because they think that the stock is overvalued and it's going to go down from there. But this is where the little infinite loop comes in because we have short sellers adding in, and then more people decide to buy and buy and buy because it's getting at a cheaper price, and then those new short sellers end up getting squeezed out, and this is where you end up with GameStop at 500. Now finally, I'm going to give you guys a price target, and this little indicator I'm using is a Fibonacci extension. I don't normally use a Fibonacci, but when a stock is at close to an all-time high, it's definitely good to get price targets. And as you can see here, when we set it to its previous all-time high, it actually hit the 1.618, almost on the dot with this rejection right here. Now, if we do end up breaking the all-time high around 43, then we could get a move up to the 2.618, which would get us $60 and a huge amount of profit for those that are invested. But of course, like I say every video, make sure you do your own research. This is extremely risky because of the explosion that it had yesterday, so make sure you're not putting in too much of your portfolio into the stock. Trade with some money that you can lose. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, of course, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.